Well, howdy, 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 and welcome back once again to the Withlacoochee River Railroad and the Withlacoochee River Report. Yeah, decided to run a little steam today. Or blow off some steam today, or whatever. Why don't you follow me through the intro, and I'll give you an updated report about what happened. Well, you'll see what happened yesterday's Lionel show. Yeah, wasn't all that great. Well, as you can see, everything's a little wet out here today. Hopefully we'll get to uncover here in a little bit.
There's 3 gauges.
There's a whole bunch of gauges here.
Well, this is biggie, and number 2, and then inside is HO.
Well, that's HO. Yeah, that's a different scale altogether.
I mean, scale, I mean, the track, I guess, make the determination.
Yeah. I mean, with each scale, you got several gauges. With those scale, you've got 5-foot gauge, which is the 1 1/4 inch track gauge.
Yeah.
Then you got Proto 48, which comes out to 4 feet 8.5 inches. Then you've got ON3 and ON2 and ON30. Which ON3, that's just narrow gauge.
You don't have any standard switches, do you?
I got a one, yeah.
Okay. Huh. Was that a little lead? Oh yeah, a little lead turkey?
Yep. That's for Thanksgiving.
No, that was the one that Trump pardoned.
Wow.
Thank you for your service, young man. You're welcome. My mom thinks.
Well, it is December 6th, 2025. We are here at the Lionel Train Day show at Dana's Railroad Supply. Got a few people coming in, not too many. And my buddy Kenny's table. And then there's John's tables. Of course, John didn't fully set up. Notice Mike and Sue aren't here. As you can see, we've had a little bit of rain today. But the hardier souls showed up. I'm here. I got my table down there. Don't have much on it. Nobody's bothered looking at my stuff, so... Kevin's got a standard gauge set up in there he's running. All of it reproduction, of course.
I didn't even realize today was Lionel Day.
This thing will run 6 hours with no power. It's all off of power supply.
Is that right?
Yeah, the chargeable power supply.
6 hours.
Yeah, I ran it for 6 hours on a 75% charged power supply. Straight.
Unbelievable.
Just to see what it would do.
Sure.
I've been out here since 7 a.m. running. And I haven't lost a bar yet on it.
You're up for old man produced chickens, right?
Huh?
You're up for old man produced chickens.
And the price went up $90. So I'll probably hold on to it or sell it for what I got last year. But they work really well.
I see that.
You can run a regular refrigerator for 4 hours on it, a commercial fridge for 2.5 to 3 hours. It'll do a microwave, it'll do a TV, it'll do a computer, blender.
Amazing, huh? One little battery.
Well, it's not little. I mean, it's a pretty large size. I mean, it weighs about 7 pounds.
Yeah, that's little. Come on.
Well, little compared to what? Yeah.
A motorcycle battery weighs more.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Of course it is.
Yeah, it does.
Howdy. Okay. Well, as you saw, with all the rain and stuff we had yesterday, it wasn't a real good show. There were a few of us that stuck it out. I decided to stick it out with the guys because didn't have the wife with me. She's still in rehab. So, as things kind of worked out, of course, because of the rain yesterday, we didn't end up with, I didn't end up with any sales. You know, I had one thing almost sell, but naturally, almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. So that's the way that worked out. That's all right. I figure probably we didn't have a lot of the buying public show up because of the rain and stuff. We had to keep covering up our trains. I had to keep putting engines and rolling stock into the, you know, or certain items into the tote so that it didn't get rained on, you know. I did have a couple of engines with me and stuff like that, and I just didn't really want to have to deal with that. The plastic buildings, of course, can take the rain just fine, but the show itself was kind of a bust. There were a couple of guys that took in a little money, but they didn't take in what they would have normally taken in. A lot of the people that would have normally been there just weren't there. My buddy John, he was there. He sold me this here Lionel engine house. Sold it cheap. So I went ahead and got it. So that was my big haul for the day. So I figure, okay. Now, am I going to use that as an engine house? It's possible. Might also use it. Might also break it apart and use it as a building flat. You know, to make up part of a kind of a 3D backdrop. You know, back behind the buildings, back behind other buildings here. I think it would probably look pretty good. So, that being said, other than that, there really isn't too much to report this week other than this, well, you guessed it, this weekend coming up, the 13th of December, we will be having our regular train show at Dana's. Hopefully the weather will be a little bit more conducive to that. I didn't, since it was Lionel Day, I didn't go in and do any inside the store and do a lot of videography in there. So I just kind of stayed outside and stayed with my stuff. The only thing I went into the store for was to go to the restroom and to look around a little bit like I normally do, because after all, I can't afford anything in there, so I might as well go and enjoy looking at it, right? That is whatever Dana might have on hand, which isn't usually too much. Not in the way of O-gauge, anyway. You know, as much O-gauge activity as we have in the area, you still got to give in to the demographics. Most everybody in the area that models trains at all, they're in HO scale, or in many cases N scale. There is a lot of Lionel around. There is a lot of Lionel and O-gauge people around. And then there's even a couple of us scale hounds who like our cars to be O scale. I thought I'd run the 080 today. It needed to be run a little bit. It's a good runner. That one was, for those that are new, that one was made in about 1995, 96. The sound is all contained in the tender, and the engine is conventional. So, and I really kind of prefer it that way, because it sure does simplify things. Because if something goes wrong with the electronics, all I got to do is yank those out and be done with it. So, because the engine itself is, I guess it's got an electronic E-unit. That might be incorporated into the electronics in the... no, I don't think it is, because everything else is contained within the locomotive itself. But it's one of my very few New York Central engines. I've still got to get this beast going. I'd like to get this beast going. I just got to figure out how I'm going to do that. Oh well. Anyway, I've got a million things to do, and it seems like no time to do them now. I'm actually going to have work this week, which is a good thing, because that might provide me with a couple of dollars that I'll be able to spend next week. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just make some money next Saturday, I'm hoping. Like I said, I'm hoping the weather will be a little bit better next Saturday, and we'll be able to get customers in there to buy stuff. I mean, you know, yesterday, well, like I said, what you saw in the video, I mean, and there were a lot of people that would have normally been there selling stuff that weren't there at all because of the rain. So there just really wasn't very much going on. So yeah, if the report is it's a little lackluster this week, I apologize for that. But if you like the content, please leave a like and subscribe and share. And until next time, You like that MTH wood caboose? I sure do. That is a beautiful caboose. Till next time, happy railroading.